I have a lot of different things to explain to you about what I have changed on your Google Drive regarding our folder and file names and locations. In terms of the content that I've updated on this round, I started writing it down, and I realized how long this document was going to become and how low of a chance I was going to have of you actually having the time to sit there and read all of this. So, I'm creating this video instead. What changes have I made to your filing system? Whenever we started the second round of this project for the current order that you had 5,613 items located within your Google Drive Entangled folder remaining. I didn't really count how many folders we started with, but you can get an idea of that by just looking at the listed quantities in the info that I've shared. So, I didn't actually realize that I wasn't counting the files within the zipped folders, but this is nothing that you have to worry about, and I'll tell you why shortly. I have created several different folders that you would need to discard from your own account because I cannot discard them on your end without logging into your account with your password. Therefore, my solution was to create a series of folders for you to eliminate now. Suggested deletes and delete me folders of files for various categories is a single main folder housing 5 separate subfolders. So, basically, you would just need to delete one after reviewing what the purpose of all of them is. Exactly for you to truly see if you want to delete them. After you delete, you're going to end up with more files than I intended because I accidentally started this project by deleting instead of utilizing the suggested deletes folder before I realized that it does create this problem of only deleting it for myself instead of for both of us. These items will still be visible to everyone who has access to whatever main folder other than the person that deleted the file, unless they're the owner of the file. So if I delete something, it's only going to delete the contents on my end and not on yours. So I'm just deleting my own access to a single file, and it's not deleting nothing for you in return. This is a really big mistake that I made for the first batch of, I'm not sure how many files exactly, but I made up for it by merging over different folders that you would need to discard from your own account because I cannot discard them on your end without logging into your account with your password. Therefore, my solution was to create a series of folders for you to delete me folders of files for various categories is a single main folder housing 5 separate subfolders. So basically, you would just need to delete one after reviewing. The purpose of all of them is exactly for you to truly see if you want to delete them. After you delete, you're going to end up with more files than this project by deleting instead of utilizing the suggested deletes folder. Before I realized that it does create this problem of only deleting it for myself instead of for both of us. These items will still be visible to everyone who has access to whatever main folder other than the person that deleted the file, unless they're the owner of the file. So if I delete something, it's only going to delete the contents on my end, and not on yours. So I'm just deleting my own access to a single file, and it's not deleting nothing for you in return. This is a really big mistake that I made for the first batch of, I'm not sure how many files exactly, but I made up for it by merging over 250 files, even though we agreed to 20. Now maybe more than 200 empty folders that I pulled out of your different subfolders and different sections of your Google Drive. I realized that you had several different duplicate folders of files and different statuses, whether they were spreadsheets, documents, or photos of the front of a document and the back of a document as separate images. I've converted them into continuous PDFs. I've merged tables onto Excel spreadsheets. I've merged different continuous PDF files that just belong together. Photos of the front of a document and the back of a document as separate images. I've converted them into continuous PDFs. I've merged tables onto Excel spreadsheets. I've merged different continuous PDF files that just belong together. I've merged Word documents that were missing contents within certain parts of the file, or just had different file names. I've discarded the duplicates like that. I've done quite a bit of damage or positive damage to the quantity of files and folders on your Google Drive. I recycled zipped folders in the empty folder section because you have the folders unzipped now. Now there's suggested delete videos. The reason I consider them to be suggested delete videos is because of the fact that they are unedited, uncut, acting clips that I don't think anyone's going to ever view other than the individuals who created the videos. So that's why it's just a suggested delete. I don't know if the people that were acting in the videos wanted to keep them. I really don't think you guys would be showing any of these to your visitors that come to see your shows. I don't know the exact quantity of the difference of folders and files that I currently have on my end versus what you have on your end, which is something that we can resolve by you creating a new share link with me and deleting my current access to your content. I also have a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet that contains the name of every folder and file that we should see on your Google Drive. So I will create another one of those spreadsheets and compare and contrast the differences between what you see and what I do. When you make me a new share link, I can absolutely bring your account to the same quantity as mine by moving all the files, estimated to be about 700 files, to the folders I labeled for you to delete, and you can delete them from your end. But I have on the version that I see right now, and versus what you see on your end. So you would just need to create an additional share link after deleting the one that we have right now. So then, like I said, the quantities of was not 5613, because when I was unzipping your folders, it was increasing the overall quantity of your files. Since the zipped folders of numerous files were being counted as a quantity of one, instead of considering the fact that these files are located within the folder, instead of considering the quantity of the files that were located within the folder with the type of automation that I was using to calculate the overall quantity of files and folders, within each main folder like accounting, tax, and finance, we have bank IRS letters, bills, invoices, receipts, business sale documents, Costco Entangled, refund disputes, funding, budgeting, and for grants and loans. Item 19 quarterly expenses, statements, taxes, transactions, and you then, if you keep going into which then these are the quantity of the files that you would find within each of the identified folders, and these are where I see identified folders within the Entangled and Immersion files. If you wanted to see any other folder contents, if you switch over to where you're looking, because this is the same.
This is the exact folder and file names that should end up on your account. There shouldn't be anything besides these, and that's what I would cross-check with. Another way I could be cross-checking the folders, for example, is with this that I created. Let me update this one too. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, this is your folder tree. So basically, the outermost folders are accounting, tax, and finance, advertising, marketing, and promoting, business operation, documents, contracts, whatever, components, equipment, inventory, tangibles, documents, instructor responsibilities, roles, rules, leaderboard, room experiences, the basement, incidents, customer, and building, and those are the main folders. And then within each main folder, like in accounting, tax, and finance, we have the bank IRS letters, bills, invoices, receipts, business sale documents, Costco, Entangled, refund disputes, funding, budgeting for grants and loans, item 19, quarterly expenses statements, taxes, transactions, and then if you keep going in, like basically it's kind of obvious which one clicks into which one. Then these are the quantity of files that you would find within each of the identified folders. And these are, when I say identified folders, I just mean the identified folders within the Entangled and Immersion files. If you wanted to see any other folders contents, you have to switch over to where you're looking. Table design. Just to make it look less messy. Okay, there is 1,307. And then for the deletes summary, let me make this one update too. There we go, 1307. So this is the quantity of what's inside of each one of those different folders, which I already mentioned whenever I was showing you this. This is the same exact data that you see over here. That I will zoom in on whenever I'm done closing out all the stuff that I changed on your account. It's gonna probably go on for a minute. Okay, there finally. Okay. So this is the folders within the suggested or the delete this folder. And then let's go through some more stuff. So whenever you go into here, rooms experiences, these are the folders that you see now. You're not going to find anything that's going to repeat itself, or you shouldn't, honestly. I've merged everything to a point of not going too many folders deep. Um, so I did retain the concept of you guys using a version 1 and a version 2 for different rooms, because I thought that that was absolutely necessary to keep. And there is some additional subfolders that I've created beyond what was already there to make things easier for the facilitator of the experience. And so, like, these are, I've renamed quite a few of the files. I've also tried to merge everything into the folders based off of what they are. And let's see, like, for example, part of the let's go to a different one. So here, okay, I simplified this because there was way too many folders. And so now all of the promos that you guys have done is here. I know that you guys had written something like past promotions, current promotions. These are all past promotions. That's why it's called ads, codes, flyers, and project post archives, because the current promotions folder was all 2023. There was nothing that looked like it was current. Then inside of the Groupon folder, there was additional codes that I guess were for Groupon specifically. And then we've got the Costco folder that there was codes for Costco specifically. I made sure that all of these things that came out of the folders that they did got renamed in order to make sure that even though they're coming out of the folders that they were existed in, you're not going to get a whole bunch of chaos and be like, wait, what is this? So I named the files whatever the folders were called, basically, because these files didn't have names at all. And then backgrounds, these are the backgrounds. There was a folder with this name, so I just copied that. Business cards, there was a lot of duplicates in here, and I tried to do the best I could to merge and separate the HM and the JR business cards. These are probably don't have a name on them. That's why they're here. Here's an example. That's the reason why it's in the outer folder in versus selecting an exact person's folder. I'm not sure who it would belong to, but anyways, let's keep going. Business prints. These are the business prints, and to be quite honest with you, I don't know if these are duplicates or not, because I can't open Apple Pages documents if I'm not the Apple Pages document owner, and I'm accessing your Google Drive, not your iCloud, so I can't really do anything about those. I'm sorry about that. These are the Cash for Causes contents that were in there. This was let's see, view. This was customer reviews that you guys already had over here. I mean, not in this folder, in a different folder, but it is what it is. I think it belongs better in the advertising section versus being on its own, buried somewhere else. These were documents that were here. Email configurations, that's self-explanatory. Experience screenshots. This was and then there's Facebook related, including regaining access. Immersion trailers. I actually pulled some of these from the room experiences folders because they were straight up previews for the experiences, and I just thought this would be cool to add the ones to your website that you don't have.